Hey, my name is Greg Bogus. I'm an advisor at Riza, which is making LLM tool calling simple and safe. And yesterday there was some pretty exciting news in the world of tool calling. Anthropic announced computer use. So they said, what if we just gave the LLM a virtual machine to use? So I thought we'd just go through this quick start, see if we can get the project up and running and play around with computer use and see how it works and see how capable it is. You will need Docker to run this locally. You'll also need an Anthropic account with some paid credits. You'll also need your Anthropic API key. Once you have all those and you've set your API key, you're just going to run this command. You can come over to localhost 8080 and you can see your virtual machine here on the right and a Streamlit app that just provides a simple interface to talk to the agent. I heard that the Lakers had opening night last night. Let's see how they did. Action move mouse. It has opened up Firefox. It is clicking on the URL bar. Lakers Nuggets score October 22nd, 2024. I don't know how I knew that it was Lakers Nuggets, but that's fine. Actually, I feel like that. Interesting. This is a video from, it's a YouTube video. So based on the title and thumbnail, I can see that it was from the Lakers Nuggets game from last night. I guess figured out that it couldn't get the answer it wanted from YouTube. And so now it's apologizing and now see that it was playing against Minnesota Timberwolves last night, not the Nuggets. Wow. Okay. So I just realized that it made a mistake, has corrected its mistake. Now it's gone to NBA.com. I can now tell you the Lakers won their opening night against the Minnesota Timberwolves with a final score, Lakers 10, Timberwolves 103. All right, so here's, how does this compare to their opening nights from the last, 10 years? I have to say, I'm impressed already that it was able to navigate a web browser to get that information. And it also, the fact that it was able to auto-correct itself. So the way this is working in general is it is taking a screenshot of the virtual machine of the screen, and then it is passing that screenshot to Anthropic. It's using vision to identify what's on the screen, and then it's making decisions about where it should click, and presumably if we got to that point, what it should type. Okay, this is interesting. I don't know how I got this. Analysis of the Lakers opening night performance over the last 10 years. This year's win breaks a streak of 6 consecutive opening night losses. I feel like I heard something about that on Reddit. Overall, how did it get this data? And so I'm just confused about where it came from, and I don't know how to, it's always sort of the problem with LLMs. I don't know how to validate that it's accurate. Okay, what is something else we could do that would include some data? Because there's something interesting. Oh man, look, there's a spreadsheet down here. I wonder if I can use spreadsheets. Can you put this data into a spreadsheet for me? It has opened up the spreadsheet. Let me create the headers and enter the data. Does it know that it needs to click OK? Yes, it did. That's interesting. I like the little, the sounds that it's making. I assume that's the sound that it makes as it takes screenshots. It has moved down one cell. It sees in Lakers score. It feels like it did not tab over to cell B2 like you would have wanted it to. You kind of joke sometimes that LLMs are like having like a really good intern. Maybe not even a really good intern, but an intern. This would be pretty comical to have an intern trying to create a spreadsheet and watch them do this. So I think with so much of this AI stuff, the fact that it's doing this at all is incredible. I don't know at the moment that translates into something useful. So like maybe having it fill out a spreadsheet, maybe that's not the right way to do this. Maybe there's a better way to do this actually. Maybe the spreadsheet's not really playing to its strengths, but I do see that we have a shell down here and we have a terminal. Instead of using the spreadsheet, write a Python program that turns the data into a CSV. I'll help you create a Python program. So tool use, stir, replace editor, input command create. So it created a Python file. It basically just hard coded that data in, created the file. Now let's run the Python script to generate the CSV and see the statistics. CSV file has been created. Open the Lakers data CSV in the spreadsheet program. Okay, so it did find the data. So now it's going to go up to File. Presumably it's going to click Open. We do not need to save that. But it's interesting that it like made that. Oh, interesting. Look, it put the file name here in the cell that I was already in. So it kind of like failed on the first try there. Okay, so now it's going to try opening again. All right, now we see something. Okay, look at that. Now let me click OK to import. Okay. All right. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Cool. All right. What else can we do? All right, I have something. I need to buy a new clock for our living room. Can you please research wall clocks on Amazon? I want something that's 12 or more inches in diameter. Black, I don't know what you call that. Black case, large numbers, sweeping, secondhand, between $20 and $50. Firefox is already running, but not responding. To close it, we got to close the existing Firefox process, restart your device, or use a different profile. Ah, man. All right. So it thought it was in Firefox. It tried to search and put the search phrase into A1 here. This is like kind of, oh, wow. Okay, look, it's tool use bash command pkill Firefox. So it knows how to use bash to kill an application. And it has successfully restarted Firefox. We're on Amazon. It has searched for the thing. What is it clicking on? Is it just scrolling down? I mean, look, this is, sure, it's a little slow, but if I could just run this in the background and it came back to me 10 minutes later or an hour later, whatever, with some options, and it was relatively reliable, that's pretty awesome. And I'll create a CSV with the URL of, let's say, 5 different options. Here's the spreadsheet. Open this CSV in LibreOffice. We're like 24 minutes into this thing, and it's still working. And I'm on like the 3rd or 4th task, and it's still going. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Okay, we're back to LibreOffice. We got our junk from before. This file is going to open. It did open. Okay. Oh, look. Dude, it's going to work. And it worked. Wow. That's incredible. All right. I mean, look. These aren't perfect by any means. It's given me, I mean, I'm not sure that any of these are necessarily exactly what I'm looking for. And they didn't fall into necessarily the budget range that I was looking for. I mean, there's some that are under, which is fine, but I did give a specific budget range. But the fact this works at all is pretty incredible. Let's try one more, because writing and running code is always an interesting demo. Let's see if it can write and run a game of life simulation. Let's do it in Python. All right, I'll create a Python script that uses simple console output with animation. File successfully created. So it looks like it just wrote all the code just inline here. It's like I don't actually need a text editor, which is kind of funny. All right, so now let's run the game of life simulation. It just runs it. It just writes it in one step and then runs it. Tool use command. All right, tool use bash. So it's running it, but I actually want to see the output. So that's interesting. So it's running bash in the background. We've seen this happen when it's created the CSVs. So bash is going in the background. I wonder how long it's going to run for. I wonder if these actions time out. All right, so there we got our timeout. Bash not returned to 120 seconds. It must be restarted. Let's stop this because I think I know what's going to happen there. Please open a terminal so I can and run the script there. Also update the code to terminate the program after, let's say, 200 generations. All right, we have opened a terminal. Oh, hey, look at that. You can see the generations up top. Wow, that looks like a game of life simulation. Wow, yeah, that's a game of life simulation. That's crazy. Look at that. Clear. Why is it typing clear? Why is it getting all up in there? That's running. Leave it alone. Interesting. So it keeps taking screenshots. So it's almost like it doesn't. It's going to keep taking screenshots as the thing's running and doesn't understand that its job is just to wait, perhaps. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So it wrote a Python program that seems to have run on the first time. It's running that program. I love the fact that it's using a computer but not using a text editor at all. That's amazing. All right, let me think here. Is there an FTP server somewhere? In a terminal, connect to a public FTP server that has interesting public data. Download the data and analyze it. Make the data about New York City. I'm going to help you connect to NYC Open Data through FTP. Let me clear the terminal, install LFTP, which is a better FTP client. Okay, so it's running sudo apt-get, so it's installing an app that it needs. Interesting. Wow, stuff was happening here and I just wasn't seeing it. So it's interesting. I was not specific about the data. So it says, let me try a different approach. NY Open Data Portal is a public data set we can download directly using curl. Let's get the NYC restaurant inspection. It does look like it downloaded that. We've downloaded the NYC restaurant inspections. Now let's analyze it using Python. I'm going to create a Python script to analyze the data. It created that. Now let's run the analysis. It is running that. Okay, so matplotlib is not installed. Can it fix that? All right, let's install the required Python packages. It's installing pandas. It's something happened here. There was an error in analyze restaurants.py, but it did load the data. So something ran. So we have a file called analyze restaurants.py. Something ran. Needs to fix the file paths in the script. So it fixes those. So review the changes and make sure they are correct. Does it want me to review those changes? Nope, it does not. It is funny. At no point does it seem to stop and ask me for clarification or direction. And and I don't know if it should, but you would think that it might along the way encounter branches, and it's just kind of making assumptions as it goes. It's completing these tasks. So I think there's something to be said for like fully automated. All right, man, look at this loading data, number of inspections. Here's the grade distribution. Jeez. Oh my gosh. All right. So look what just happened here. That's great. That's incredible. So I just said, open an FTP server and go download some interesting data about New York. It found an FTP server, probably in its training data. It tried a couple. They didn't work. It tried different techniques. It thought about doing a couple different data sets. It found one that worked. It downloaded the raw data. It wrote a Python script. It realized it needed to install pandas for that script to work. It installed pandas. It realized the file paths were messed up. It fixed the file paths. And then it just, that's incredible. I mean, this is like, it's all working. I mean, if you think about everything we've done here so far, we've tried to pull down current events. We've seen it use a browser. We've seen it use a spreadsheet app. We've seen it deal with apps crashing. We've seen it work from, like a dirty spreadsheet and figure out how to open up a new one. We've seen it navigate the file system, both from within an app, but also with Bash and also with Python. We've seen it correct mistakes in Python as it pertains to the file system. Then we've seen it, reach out to other servers via FTP, download data, write code, install helper libraries, do analysis on data from a very unspecific command. I mean, we've been going now for 40 minutes, and it kind of keeps working. It keeps rolling along. So it has this, I have this vision in my head of like that dog robot where you knock it over and then it gets back up. It feels like this has gotten knocked over a couple times and it's still going. And that's pretty incredible. Over the last 18 months of playing with LLMs, I typically have said that the use cases where you're trying to fully automate something are generally unimpressive and underperform expectations. And the use cases where you're trying to augment a human are the ones where I've really found there to be a lot of utility. This might be one of the first times that I've seen, full automation of a task and it actually being able to work through to completion. And we threw 5 or 6 different tasks at it and it got most of them. And it's pretty cool, especially if you assume that this is going to keep getting better and keep getting better quickly. So this is super exciting and look forward to playing with this a lot more.